What's up, everybody? Well, in the last video you've seen me doing a quick overview and rundown of that LT1 engine. Just doing a check to make sure it was sound enough to put into the project. You notice that one cylinder was a little bit possibly either scored or had some stuck rings. As long as it sat, most likely stuck rings. But we're going ahead and gonna run it anyways. Today I'm gonna start doing some harness modifications to run a 411 PCM, LS PCM like this one. This isn't a 411, this happens to be a 4896. So yeah, and a 0610. So you want a 411 PCM out of like a 2001, 2002 Express van with the old style Vortec 350. I got a set of LS connections because I'm just going to go ahead and buy me a 411 PCM off eBay flash to a 2002 Chevy Express van, just to make my life easier, because the nearest you pull it to me that I can hopefully find an Express van is about an hour and a half drive away. So personally, it's going to be cheaper for me to buy one. You can pick them up off eBay for like 60 bucks, tuned to a VIN of whatever machine you want. To do this, you're going to need a couple of LS connectors. These have been used in about all kinds of vehicles. These happen to be out of like a 2004 Monte Carlo, and that's why we have one blue connector, one clear connector. A typical 411 GM wiring harness will have a blue and a red connection. Now, the blue will fit into the blue connection just fine. The clear won't. What's wrong with the clear is they are different connection styles. The pin, these connectors, this connector and this connector, the housings and everything are identical. The only thing that's different between these two connectors are obviously the pin placement and the caps. See how the cap has this little tab? It matches with the blue one opposite each other. The newer ECMs are like that. They drive by wire. ECMs, I believe, are in the same location too. It's been a while since I messed with the drive-by-wire harness, so don't quote me on that, but I think they are. But if you look at the red, they are in the same location as if you look at the blue, they're in the same location as the other blue harness. But if you look at the red, they are not in the same location. So to remedy the fact that if you have this different connector than your ECM, go ahead and just grind them tabs off. That's what I did with my bench harness, because it had a drive-by-wire connection, which is like this. Just went ahead and ground them down, and it will slide right in and hook up. And you can, the only downfall with that is you can hook them up backwards, or you can put the clear or whatever color you have. There's a green one, you can hook that up into the blue on accident, but you have to hook the computer up wrong. And yeah, you shouldn't have your battery hooked up while you're plugging your PCM in anyways, so you shouldn't fry it, because you shouldn't have any power in there. But you know, there's still a possibility, because you won't be able to plug the blue in down here. See? Perfect. Go like this. Yeah, it goes like this. You won't be able to plug that in. See? But you can plug it in up here like so. So yeah, see? Perfect. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to depin this entire two connectors, and then I'm going to go through. I'm going to go ahead and put the K5's harness away. I just brought that out for a reference. Got this cutting board to kind of make it nice, clean. I can do cut the harness apart and stuff and not ruin my rubber top. But like I said, I'd like to thank Horsepower Tube. He's got a pretty decent amount of videos on running the LT1 on 411. His application is going to be a little different than mine, because he repinned the harness to fit and work in a factory scenario in a 90. His happened to be 93, but a 96 and up, a 96, 97 with the crank sensor. Yeah, he did that for the factory Camaro. Actually, his was a Trans Am with the LT1. So if you guys are doing that, that won't be a problem. You just follow his schematics. I got a couple of different, I got a full wiring harness overview of a, I think this is a 90, yeah, this is a 96 Camaro. And then this is a O2 express band. Then here are his wiring pinouts that you can get off his Facebook page. I'm gonna go through and like that ground, I'm gonna add a pin. Ignition voltage, I'm gonna add a pin for keyed. Battery positive, I'm gonna add it. Then we'll go to my fuse block. Another ground, add it for a coolant fan, so on and so forth. So that's what I'm gonna do with that. And I'm gonna go ahead and get that stuff accomplished. I'm gonna do the blue connector first, then I'll worry about the red connector second. So, because if you go through here, red, see it says red, right up there, C2 red, which might have it to be clear. So I will also probably go over to the grinder or get my hand grinder out, or you can cut them off with a pair of wire cutters or wire snips, cut them off, and that's a good possibility also, but you gotta worry about cracking that. So it's just easier to take a flat disc on like a little angle grinder, and not an angle grinder, but a little die grinder, and buzz them off. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I will cut you guys back on when I get this depinned and I get all the wires and pins added, and possibly might cut it back on when I get it in and have all the pins out, because I think you can actually remove the center out of this. And if that's the case, I will throw these in the sandblaster and clean them up a smidge. So yeah, we'll cut you guys back on in a second. Okay, I went ahead and got them all depinned, as you can see in them time lapses. This is the blue connector. I went ahead and added pins off camera because I had to consult this. This is the red connector, which takes clear covers. I went ahead and took my flush snips and then clipped right off with no problem. So, and they fit right into the newer style ECM. So I got them done. I went ahead and drug the harness out of its tote and went ahead and disconnected the old PCM off of it. And like, I've got these wrapped in red tape with the stuff I'm going to be removing out of the harness. It's like your EGR, some of your air and secondary O2s and whatnot. Like oil pressure, low oil temperature, low oil sender, stuff like that. Like this is the oil pressure sender, which I may extend the wire a little bit and keep that in there for a oil pressure gauge. I probably will also keep the temperature gauge too. I had one bad wire in my rear O2s. I'm going to get rid of the skip shift. What else? There's the skip shift, and then the reverse indicators and all that stuff out of the transmission loom. Just keep the speed sensor. I'm not 100% sure. Probably right off the get-go, I'm not going to use the speed sensor. It's not really needed. It does aid in some of the idling characteristics. Yeah, and a lot of this stuff will get removed. Like this is for air conditioning. I'm gonna have to get a new one of these because the tab broke off. And we got some engine temperature sensor, throttle position sensor, idler control, alternator, all that stuff. So I'm gonna go in here, and all the stuff with the red tape, I'm gonna go ahead and get peeled back. I may possibly wheel the engine out here and set the harness up on it, and then we will possibly start pinning over. I might not even get the engine out yet. I'll probably get and start pinning over to the 411 PCMs. Some good stuff to have also is from LT1 Swap. They've got a spot here that tells you where you need the essentials and the minimums to what needs power and whatnot to get a bare bone basic LT1 running. So like out of these connections here, and I believe these two connections here. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and catch you guys back on the second when I get that tore down a little bit and we start the pinning. So yeah, catch you guys in a second. Okay guys, I gotta go check this wire. I got these are for emissions. I just deleted the rear O2s, some more emission stuff, and I pretty much got all this that goes up to this is like the temp sensor, then just different ignition controllers and different controllers up front in the engine. I've got all these wires traced back here. These will go different places. Then we're getting removed out of the harness. I've got to run these up. I forgot about these. I got to run them up here and get them out. That's pretty much the only thing. I'm going to end up cleaning up all the harness later on, but right now it's just going to be temporarily taped up in the same kind of layout that it was. And then we'll get it on the engine. And then when I get the 411 PCM, I am going to try to fire it with this harness and make sure everything works like it's supposed to. So yeah, but that's pretty much the gist of what I've been doing. I might set up another time lapse. I'm not sure yet. I don't know how if you guys like that format or not. I mean, it's just kind of me fighting this harness, and this tape the harness itself is stuck together from all the tape glue that is seeped through the harness. The wires are still very flexible, but yeah, normally on these splices I heat shrink them with marine heat shrink, but right now I'm just taped them. I don't know, it should be good enough for this harness anyways. So yeah, if I'm doing it for somebody else, of course I do my best work, but for this little project, it's just kind of a test because I'm not 100% sure if this is going to work yet. I'm fairly certain it's going to work, but it's never 100%. So I'm going to go ahead and I got to check this because I believe this is the optics connection. And if I don't need that, I'm going to go ahead and pull it out. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing. So I might cut you guys back on when I figure that out and do another time lapse of me finishing up to the PCM plug. So we'll catch you guys in a bit. Well, I ran out of time for tonight, so that's what I've got accomplished. I'm kind of confused right now with this because this went to the optical sensor, which I don't think you even need anything out of the optical sensor. But low reference distributor share with, yeah, they share that, but that also runs down because if I went and tapped into this, this would run down to the cam sensor down there. So I don't think I need any of the optical sensor at all. So yeah, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and button up everything for this evening, and I'll probably catch you guys in the next video. So have a good one.